Should do a Mazda spin tracker.
I'm Mazda Spin Tracker. Good morning, everybody. We're here. We go. All right, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. This is the race here today. We're going to be having a fantastic one. It is going to be one of the better ones of I would have to say. This is one of the more straightforward tracks of the circuit. This is one of those not one of those like we had in Portugal where it's kind of more of a tire race and things like that. It will those will come into effect here, but this is kind of one of more your standard F1 tracks, which we are all excited to see. Now, one thing that this is Lewis Hamilton's race to lose. As 21 out of the 22 last people that have gotten pole have won this race. So that means for Lewis, if he loses this, he's in a percentage category that is extremely low. You can see there. This is beautiful over in Barcelona, where we will be in a few months here. But the interesting part about this race, the Mercedes tires that they qualified on, they're using to start the race, actually have a few more laps usage on them than everybody else, which should be interesting and something to keep an eye on here. The wind speed yesterday, it did pick up, and there was some complaints about it. Perez was complaining about it, especially on to into the turns. But here in this situation today, we have no wind speed at all. So this is going to be fascinating. This should be fun. This is going to be pure all-out racing, and also the start of this race should be fascinating as it is basically an all-out drag race to the first corner.
Yeah, actually, look for a bit of a tailwind here. In the pre-race interviews, Hamilton was interviewed as saying that the Red Bulls do better in the tailwind, but a bit of slightly different conditions than were in qualifying. There are a few wet spots on the track for some overnight rain. But Frank, as you were saying, 23 of the previous races won by the winners of turn one. So look for the turn one shenanigans to occur at least right off the gap, right off the start here. And it really is the gap opening up on the inside. Look for Hamilton to try to protect the inside of turn one. Otherwise, this is quite difficult track to overtake on. And we have already seen, and buongiorno, Paolo,
Hey, good
good
morning.
morning, or buenos dias, as we would say in Spain. Um, we have already seen turn one aggressiveness, I guess I would call it, from Verstappen this year, right? Wasn't it in the it
It
wasn't
was
in
it
Bahrain, it was in Imola, right? That
Imola is where he made the move.
right,
Yes.
like right off the start, and he made the move on then Bottas, who was on the pole there in Imola. So I expect to see some like just look for that off the start, especially on the inside. Frank, it's 3.6 hundredths of a
A
second that
second. Yep.
separated the qualifying here between first and
And,
second, Hamilton and Verstappen.
And also, one thing to note: this is probably one of the closer driver championships and also constructors championships at this point in the season so far. Typically, Mercedes has just been pretty much running out of the park, but Lewis Hamilton is only leading Max Verstappen by 8 points. If we can maybe at some point get just like a little tracker of that in the corner, that'd be
Oh,
great.
that's
And then
probably what we should put up in the top
yeah, and
right.
then the constructors as well. The points are pretty close. Mercedes is leading the constructors by more, obviously, because of Bottas, and then Checo's hasn't done too well at some of the races here for Red Bull. But they are almost lined up here, and then we're going to have lights out here very shortly. We have the green flag, the lights are going, and here we are at the Spanish Grand Prix, and we're going to be right off. And here we go. Hamilton gets a pretty good start. The Red Bulls actually
And
maybe
here it
is
is.
going to go on this
Verstappen is trying
slipstream.
to
He's
go
going to
on
be
the
able to try to make a
inside.
move.
Verstappen is
He's
going to
just,
get Hamilton on the inside. Yes, he will get
and he
around on
does get
turn
him.
one. That's
Oh,
exactly as we called it. The turn one on the inside of Verstappen, and he is in clear and air right
and
now.
and Bottas and the Ferrari also right behind him have more speed coming into the corner because that was a really bad turn there for Hamilton. Actually, almost took out Verstappen, had to get out of the move. An incredible move by Verstappen there as well. Then you're going to have the Alpine, the other Red Bull is going to be taking the outside corner there, and then Verstappen has space out in front. Looks like the pole position is was not the right
Not
place
the
to
right
be in
spot to
this
be in.
one.
Exactly, but that was exactly as we thought it would occur. Interesting point on the starting grid here. It was we had Hamilton, Verstappen, and then Bottas. It was the Verstappen sandwich again that started out, and then it was actually Leclerc and the Ferrari. Ocon in the Alpine, which is supposed to be in P5. Sainz in the other Ferrari, so 4 and 6 for the Ferraris is how they were starting. Ricciardo, which is sort of odd to see him starting in front of Norris, had better pace in qualifying. But then Perez, Norris, and Alonso. So you had, Frank, the Alpines actually, 2 of them in the top 10. It's the first time that Ferrari, Alpine, and McLaren have both their drivers starting in the top 10 this season.
Yeah, they actually had Alpine had a really good qualifying. They had a fantastic job in the past week as well. They've been doing really well, and they've kind of found something in that car that they haven't really found before. And one thing to note, the advantage here where you have those high-speed corners, the advantage in the high-speed corners goes to the Red Bull. In the medium-speed corners, the advantage is to the Mercedes. So that opens up, especially in sector 1, when you're making that first turn, it is a high-speed corner. The Red Bull does have the advantage there and clearly took the advantage. It seems at this position that second is always the best spot for the Red Bull to be in.
Yeah, what was interesting though, what I sort of feared for the Red Bulls coming into this was when we were looking back at the Portimao race from last week, like they were just losing pace everywhere on the track to the Mercedes, and like you were like, oh well, Verstappen's got to make up some time in the corners to go ahead and catch Bottas even, and he just like couldn't do it. In any case, even with the 2 DRS zones, there are 2 DRS zones here today. By the way, we have an image here of the track. If it'll work. Nope, it didn't work. All right. Yep, there it goes. Image here of the track for all the folks on stream. You have 2 exceedingly long straightaways. One right off the start, which is that huge high-speed turn, as you were calling, right to turn 1, where we saw Verstappen take the lead right over Hamilton, and then towards the end of sector 2, you have another DRS zone and then a straightaway there, and then sector 3 with the bit more curvy, as we'd say.
I I have to say I did miss the situation in which Leclerc did make the pass on Bottas. Hopefully they do show a replay of that because I did not. I'll be honest, I totally did not. I totally missed that. But here we're going to get a replay of the race start, and we're going to be able to see Max's move. He definitely gets a way better jump, and then he tries to use the slipstream. He gets a little more of it, and he's like, I can overtake him. He's got the wheel advantage, and he can go on the inside. And then I'm just interested to see.
Oh, they actually do they hit?
I think they do touch.
They might actually touch. Let's actually look at it. This is from onboard. This is for onboard Verstappen here. He's gonna get right behind Hamilton, so maybe half a slipstream.
The second right when he gets his wheel to wheel, he knows he can make the move.
Yeah. He's like shot out of a cannon. They do touch.
I
think
Max has the racing line.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. This again, the second time we've seen Verstappen basically shot out of the cannon from second place. Let's try to see this from Hamilton's standpoint. Let's take a look at the front right here. Ooh, close. They don't actually. I don't think they do.
Oh my!
It's very close.
Geez.
It's very close.
And this is Leclerc here. He actually gets past Bottas, which we.
Got lost in
I don't
the
actually
think
he
does it here.
No, he does it after this.
Yes.
Which means something must have happened. Yeah, I think actually Hamilton slows him down.
You're right.
And then Leclerc gets he's carrying all the speed already from the first turn. He's carrying way more speed.
Bottas gets stuck behind his own teammate, and
he basically had to slam the brakes. He basically had to slam the brakes, lost all his momentum, and the Ferrari's right there, and he can just pass.
Yeah. And remember, one of the reasons why this Constructors' Championship is so close is because Bottas does have a DNF for Mercedes from the Imola race there.
True. And then Red Bull also has the Perez not even getting points. I think it was in one of the beginning races as well.
But so Perez is currently in sixth. He was saying he had perhaps a bit of a shoulder issue yesterday. It was preventing him from going sort of flat out. So something to monitor, I suppose, throughout the race. And for those just to keep tabs here, it is a 66-lap race, just like it was back in Portimao last week. 4.36 kilometers rather per. 3.675 kilometers per lap here. So very was under investigation for out of position.
Out of position at the start here. I think the next battle that we're really going to have here is Bottas maybe with the DRS. I think he's going to try to make the move. I don't think he's going to be able to make the move on this one here, but he's going to be able to most likely make it on the next lap if he's able to actually stay close to him, keep it under 0.5 seconds. It'll be interesting to see where what gap allows them to pass with the DRS.
Yeah, because last time,
Last time it was not even under point
it,
0.5. You
yeah,
couldn't even
it
pass.
wasn't even close
You
actually.
had to be literally like zero point 0.3 or zero point 0.2 seconds to be able to actually make the pass. I mean,
Exactly.
granted, drag reduction system, you're allowed to enable it if you're within a second of the car in front of you, but that doesn't mean you're automatically going to pass them. Typically, it's like 0.2, zero point 0.3 seconds for you to actually make the pass.
That is what we saw. It really only worked once, and it was in Bottas's favor actually
One
when they did it last week.
And one thing a lot of the not the drivers complain about necessarily on this track, but it's very hard to actually overtake on this track. There's not a lot of places where you can actually do it. You can do it on the straights and where you get DRS, but the problem is the other car is also going at the same speed, right? So I mean, they also have the entire straightaway. So there's a lot less like passing zones. In Portugal, we basically saw most of the people would make the pass after the straightaway, and they would make it on that same move. Here, it's a little different. There's a lot more difficult places to make passes here, which is why 21 out of the last 22 victories are for pole position. But here, Max was able to basically snag that position right from the start.
Yeah, and there wasn't all that much passing in Portugal either. There was a lot of battles sort of for like in the like 7 through 10. I would I would suppose, but right there was even some trolling on Twitter actually that was it Raikkonen was the driver of the race for bowing out early and
Yeah, exactly. For
in that
not
one,
even
yeah,
racing. Yeah.
racing 2 laps and then not having to put himself through the remaining 64. So for those of you joining us, jump into the Discord if you need we got the race playing there. It's a little private watch party going on for folks. So if you need the actual race, jump into Discord. Frank could put the link
Oh yeah,
there
I
as well.
did.
And
Yeah.
then join in on the conversation back here. So another interesting point to note here. Let's see, I'm going through my talking points. The
Oh, what? Well, one thing we actually didn't congratulate yet, which is
oh
congratulations to Lewis Hamilton for that was his 100th
yes,
pole,
that
the
was
first
one
driver to
pole
ever actually
100
do it.
exactly.
So it did take him a couple weeks. Bottas did delay him a little bit, but he finally did get it. So congratulations to him. That's an incredible achievement overall. It just shows not only how good Mercedes is, but also how good he is as a driver himself.
Yeah, so unfortunately for him though, pole 100 doesn't turn out to be as memorable perhaps
As
as some.
actually helpful
Yeah,
than anything
the
else.
gap now 1.2 seconds between. Actually
Okay,
no,
so
1.4.
Bottas had the gap at zero point 0.9 to the Ferrari and then made up to zero point 0.5 after DRS. So it's around he's making up like 0.4, 0.3 on every DRS.
Fair enough. So his current gap slated at zero point 0.7 by the live timing. So let's see if what happens within 2 laps if he's within striking distance here. All drivers except for Raikkonen on the softs right now.
Yeah, Kimi didn't make it past Q3 yesterday, so unfortunately that was kind of the
Let's see if the AWS AI tells us how many laps it's going to take to pass because it was way off in Portugal last week. Uh, but we suspect he's probably got
oh.
2 or 3 laps and maybe some striking distance here.
Bottas is losing close to half a second a lap because he is behind the Mercedes or because he is behind the Ferrari.
I see.
It's very interesting. So then the actual gap, so that affects the Mercedes strategy because he's actually going to be stuck behind him. He can't get closer to Lewis to be able to basically make the jump over Verstappen. You can make one driver go long, the other one short to be able to win the race. And the DRS here is not going to help him. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to make it.
This should be. Oh, he's right on it though. This should be a one-stop race.
Oh no!
Yeah, not
There's
quite.
yellow flag in sector 2 and 3, which is towards the end of this track. It probably won't affect Leclerc and Bottas right now. They should be able to continue racing and battling out until they get to there. It looks like there's no time for
it's actually
Sonoda. So was it Sonoda?
Engine stopped. So interesting storyline here.
Restart. Yeah, exactly. He actually. I mean, if his engine can't start, they have to come and literally.
Yeah,
I think they have to They don't red flag it per se, but they actually need They need to get a safety car and then they need to like tow the car off. So I do think it. Yeah, he's gonna get out.
Yeah. Well, so this was an interesting little storyline here on this weekend too.
Yeah,
Sonoda, who has been very frustrated with his car's performance all weekend, letting some steam loose on social media yesterday. Well, he had to put an apology on social media. He was with the interviews where he was letting the steam out.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was the smartest thing for a new driver to the scene to kind of do. It was not necessarily the greatest thing for his reputation. You don't really want to throw your team or your engineers under the bus, especially when, I mean, in my opinion, I don't really think he's been racing that well. I mean, granted, he is complaining that there is a difference between his car and Gasly's, but like Gasly's been doing fine. So
Right.
obviously Gasly's figuring something out and he's at least making do with it. I mean, look at Schumacher, look at Latifi, look at Mazepin, like all these he has a better car than all of them. And he is not even able to get it across the finish line type thing. So this is going to be pretty interesting to hear what actually happens.
Well, in this case,
Oh
literally
wow,
won't
it
be able to
literally
get it off
turns
the finish
off.
line. Yeah.
The car just straight up turned off. See, that's what happens when you talk bad about your engineers, they can just turn your car off.
Ah!
So
the the fix is in.
so there you
my
go.
God.
Somebody probably got really pissed by his comments, and you know what? We'll just turn his car off.
Giovinazzi into the pit lane here early.
It's a very early pit, and it looks like
They're switching to
or maybe
mediums.
he's switching tire. Yeah, because they have the yellow flag, so they do have the.
We should see the pit stop between 22 to 28 is the one-stop strategy out of the 66.
Oh, the tire. Oh my god, what a disaster. One of the tires they tried to put on was literally punctured. Yeah, so then
Oh,
that means that you can't actually put on a different the sets of tires all have to match,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
they all have to have the same type of age. And I mean, that would also be kind of like weird if you could mix and match tires. It would just not really be like that wouldn't really help. So the fact that he had the puncture on one of them is actually hilarious. And once again, this pace car must be the most fun thing ever to drive.
Okay, so we're gonna get a restart, but Verstappen is the one that controls it. So
Yes.
it's not like a red, right? Where you like everybody's kind of like
No.
even and uh,
It's at the turn. Once they turn the corner, he basically
yep,
controls the pace of the race and how they want to move forward here. But that still means that Mercedes can get a. I mean, Hamilton can still get a slipstream on him, and he
they
can be
could,
right behind him.
he could try to
Technically,
pull.
he has advantage because of the jump, and here Russell's going to come into the pit and do the same thing. This kind of makes sense.
And we did see there was a replay of one of the Williams cars. I would think it was Russell overtaking on the outside. So both overtake outside and inside have been successful here going into turn one.
That's quite the
But
That's
yes,
quite the exit for there for the. I'll have to say that is quite the exit there for the Williams. Like the car, it is like the end of the pit wall is like literally right there. If they don't turn, they smack it. And here's Bottas on the radio. Bottas is
just
to trying to
looking
give
for
a
looking for
strategy. Yeah,
answers here.
answers. Help me.
Looking for some help. All right, if the safety car is off after this one, then this looks like this yellow flag is ending. Verstappen will control the restart. And let's see how aggressive Hamilton wants to get. My guess is probably pretty aggressive.
He's probably going to get pretty aggressive. I'm sure he did not forget about what happened on the first lap.
Yeah, well, he also has had his fair share of mishaps in Spain too. Was it 20? I was watching some replays back from the day.
And here they're going to start at literally 50 miles an hour, and he'll
Yeah,
control it. He's
only
going to try
50
to warm
miles
up
an hour.
his
The safety
tires.
car is in.
And then he's going to turn. He's probably going to turn the corner into the straightaway and just
here we go.
open
This
up.
is it. You should get it.
But they're
right
all going to
now. As Verstappen is going to restart this down there, and Verstappen will protect. No, going inside now, going out. Let's see if he tries to protect the inside. Hamilton is coming down. There is no DRS at the moment. Probably can't use it actually in a restart. And Hamilton trying to go inside, but
Leclerc
can't.
was looking.
Perez actually, look at Perez.
Perez makes a move on
overtaking
the Alpine there. Yeah, really nice move there. Once again, he has the pace. That was a really smart move by Verstappen. He basically punched it at a spot to where Lewis was behind on the curve, so then he wouldn't even be able to get behind him
Uh-huh.
for the slipstream. It
Yep.
was a really nice move, actually pretty clever there for him. Oh, the two vets are going at it. I think that's Stroll and Alonso. Never mind, not
It is.
Vettel and Alonso, but they're still neck and neck right next to each other.
Well, Vettel's like right behind them. It's like the three of them right there.
Oh, he does get the space on Alonso. The youngster kind of pushes the elder statesman out of the way there.
So the gap from Hamilton to Verstappen was at about 1.5 before we had that yellow flag for Sonoda's
The big
engine
loser
mishap.
here on this restart was Bottas.
Was Bottas,
Oh wait,
who's
no, they have the times wrong. The
no,
times are to the
he's
leader.
only about a second behind the Ferrari. It's
No, yeah,
basically
no, it
where
was. I was looking on the screen and it had
ah,
the.
gotcha. Yeah, it's about the same, so nothing's really changed all that much. I'm trying to see
There
what
is a
the
time
interesting
penalty
one.
for Pierre Gasly. Yeah, it's on the start there. Unfortunately, he's gonna have a 5 second.
Yeah, that was from the out of position, the inspection there.
Yeah,
Um, I'm looking down here at number 9 position here with Norris in the
he
McLaren.
had a really good qualifying. That car has a lot of pace. I'm surprised he's actually fallen that behind. We've kind of been more stuck on the leaders at the moment. But yes, that is actually somebody that I'm really surprised to be because most of the times that we've been watching all these races, Norris is ahead of Ricardo. So Ricardo here picking up some pace and getting ahead of his teammate. But Lando typically is, I mean, what happened?
Oh, he's over the line. He's over the yellow. He's not in his starting
Yeah,
box.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
not.
yeah. He's not in his starting box. He like ran over it. I mean,
Yeah,
somebody
these
should
cars.
radio that in, right?
No, but these cars do have
They
reverse. But the
do.
problem is, no, but the problem is to like get them in reverse and to get them out of it. It's probably better off he just takes the 5 seconds at that point.
I don't know about that. I think literally nobody told him. I mean, it's probably kind of hard to see,
Yeah, you also probably can't really see it as the
right? But
driver.
like, somebody should like radio him and be like, "Hey, buddy, you're like a foot over the line." Like,
Yeah, but by that time they're already like the lights are starting to turn off, and he's like, what are you
oh
supposed to
yeah,
do?
you're gonna start in reverse by accident. Yikes.
I mean, that would kind of be a disaster.
Yeah.
It's a massive disaster. But this is the race between both of them. He does not have DRS on this one here. Now he does, but it won't be able to
No,
activate
he
it.
doesn't activate it. So Verstappen managing to keep Hamilton at arm's length here. Yeah, so the Norris situation is starting back in ninth, actually. There was a Mazepin incident with Norris. You read about this one, right?
Yes, I watched it yesterday in
Yeah.
qualifying. Yeah, it was ridiculous. It's just absolutely unbelievable. I mean, it
So yeah.
was it was crazy. I don't really want to get into it, but there has to be a for the qualifying. There has to be a I don't know. There has to be a different way to be able to because you can like cause traffic and make traffic build up that it kind of just. I mean, I guess it's like sports. It's not sportsmanship, but it's like the name of the game. But I still think it's kind of odd.
And for those of you just joining us here, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. It is a Mother's Day, at least in the States. I don't know if it's an international thing. I guess it's an
I
international
think
thing.
it's an
All
international
right,
thing.
fine. It's an international thing. But join us in Discord too, if
Yeah, we'll post that.
if you'd like to watch the race itself. We have the race going for folks for members here in our Discord. So jump in there to get the actual race, and then join us here for the conversation. So where we stand at the moment, lap 13 out of 66. One yellow flag so far for Sonoda, who ran into engine problems and his car just stopped. And so he is out of the race for now. Well, actually, for the day. So first, Verstappen, Hamilton second, Leclerc in the Ferrari, who started fourth and overtook Mercedes teammate there, Bottas, Ricciardo, Perez, Ocon, Sainz, Norris, and Stroll. So
I'm surprised. Like I said, still, I'm still pretty surprised by like the middle of the pack isn't really doing much better. I feel like these cars had more pace in qualifying, which they're actually showing right now. I don't know if they're just trying to nurture the tires and like they're okay with where they're at, but I feel like these cars had more pace. Like I feel like Norris should easily be able to get past Science. Like it shouldn't be a problem. Like the car was he was dropping almost 117s yesterday. So like I don't really understand
yeah, so
precisely just yet.
we're currently at 123, which is kind of the lap times. it was similar to how Portugal started. Honestly, they were kind of in the mid 120s, and then by the end of the race, they were putting in 116 or something like that to be the fastest lap. Um, so I do expect it to be um, to speed up through the remainder of the race. But right now, it is a bit of follow the leader. Um, Although it looks like, they did say there were a couple wet spots on the track, but things have dried up and there's
Yeah,
no
I don't
real
think there's
inclement
any
weather or
real
anything.
issue with any of the driving lines or anything like that. But yeah, this is what I was sort of saying, and this is sort of like a classic racetrack in the sense like it's not is the follow the leader, but Sainz almost tried to make the move on Ocon, but Ocon holds him off there.
Yeah, we were talking about the Alpines earlier and how they've really sort of vaulted themselves here into a bit of contention. Uh, in Bahrain, they went 13th in DNF. In Imola, they went 9 and 10, and then in Portimao, they went 7 and 8. So they've shown consistent improvement throughout the season, trying to see if they can get 2 top 10 finishes in a row here in Spain. Although right now, Alonso, the second Alpine driver, sitting in 11th behind Lance Stroll.
Yeah, and both of the Aston Martins here, we're going to see a replay. I think of
Ooh,
this
the
is
Schumacher on
Latifi
the
and
outside.
Schumacher. Yeah, it kind of gives Latifi the space there, let him go by. Smart move. But yeah, the Aston Martins, we were talking about some of the upgrades they were making last week. They actually implemented all the upgrades in both of the cars, so both of the cars should be running better per se. But they're still not doing as well as they used to be doing last year in the Racing Point. Um, but they are making improvements and they are saying they are getting better.
Hmm. So Hamilton currently with the fastest lap, although I'm looking at a Verstappen lap of 123.1 at the moment, so I think that might update as we go on my live
It's
feed.
actually kind of interesting. Max only has 4 career poles, which is kind of crazy if you think about
Well,
it.
compared to Hamilton's 100, that's quite not
Yeah,
as many.
his
So
signs on the radio. They're going to plan C, the Ferraris.
they're going to plan C. What was A and B?
I don't know what happened with A and B, but
Well, signs have fallen
I'm
off here a
assuming
little
it's
bit.
because he's so far behind. Yeah, both of the Ferraris also sort of did start right
He
next to
started
each
in
other.
sixth. Well,
Yeah, they
yeah, Sainz
close to each
started in
other.
sixth. Leclerc is sort of clear here in third. Sainz is right now 16 seconds behind the leader and 1 second behind Ocon from seventh place. Yeah, the leader's just sort of managing. This is just about a second here between Verstappen and Hamilton. So
Yeah, this is interesting. Just listening to them talking on the radio about the different actual like moves that Bottas can make. The yellow flag actually sort of did screw him because he's so much further. Both Leclerc and Bottas are so much further back than the leaders that it doesn't really do anything.
there's a lot of separation. So it's 4.7 seconds behind is the gap between second and third, and then it's 1.4 seconds between third and fourth. So there's a massive gap at the moment between the two in front.
I don't know whose finger we're looking at.
One of the
I
engineers
don't
there on the
really
screen.
know what maybe that was Toto's finger. I don't really know what that was.
Toto's usually inside. He usually
Yeah, he's
sticks
typically
inside. Yeah.
inside. Yeah, I didn't really know necessarily what that was, but here's going to be a replay of just we're
Oh,
looking
they're
at
they're looking at
tires.
the tire wear here in
Oh,
high
whoa!
speed.
Look at the right rear.
Yeah, the right rear is showing
It's
some
straight up. It's
lines.
split.
But there's about 20 laps on those tires. Uh, we are expecting pits between 22 to 28, and then probably have to switch onto the mediums. Frank would be my guess to get the remaining almost 40 laps out of this thing.
These two are just in their own race.
They are
Not
in
gonna
their own
lie.
race. They really are. You can't
I
even
mean,
see the rest of it. Yeah,
yeah,
here's
like
the mediums. There's the mediums ready, and there's Toto in Mercedes in the Mercedes camp.
Yeah, Hamilton saying his tires are trying to drop. Yeah, we can all see that. We can see the
You can also
blister
see this on the inside on the
on
front
his left.
left, right?
Yeah,
Looking there, right on the inside. There's a line there.
I want to see Max's. I want to see if Max is having any tire issues or where his situation is
We
kind of
don't get
is
as
in.
much on board from the Red Bulls as the others. So 1.2 seconds is the gap right now, which is actually growing.
Yeah, it's getting bigger.
It is getting
He's had
bigger.
to Hamilton has to slow down because of his tires. There's no way he can keep pumping that time.
It's 1.3. He keeps losing time here through the sectors, especially as we
There's
get
no
into
way.
sector
Yeah,
3 with the turns. He's
he's
losing
not going to
even
get
more
his grip.
time.
He has no grip on his back tires. That's a problem. And then when he tries to put the power down, it's kind of delayed. He's way slower.
It's 1.2 exit 1.2 seconds of the gap exiting sector 3. Does manage to make some of it back on sector 1, but then really can't. No DRS, so can't really do much else with it. It's going to try to squeeze out another 3 or 4 laps here. We're currently at 19.
Yeah, everybody else seems to still be in the same position as they were. Nobody else has moved. I'm still lost about the Norris situation. I kind of wonder what happened with him on the start and why he ended up in that position. Raikkonen makes a move on Gasly, or no, Gasly's going into the pit, which is why everybody's passing him, not making a move on him.
Yeah, actually.
Did not realize that. And here's we're going to see Gasly's pit.
Rather slow.
Oh no, he's got the 5-second penalty. Yes.
Ah, that's right. That's right. You're right. He has to serve the penalty. And the
That was a good
medium
pit.
tires coming in.
Nice. That was not too
Well,
bad.
it would have been 3.7, right?
Yeah, I also feel like there's also like a hesitation always with that to like wait 5 seconds, just make sure it's done and then go. Like even if you gotta wait another half second, it's probably worth not messing it up. But he is going to be on a mediums, and I don't. The softs are the two stops, yeah, but the medium's a one stop.
It is exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I was
exactly.
saying. So you're gonna go 22 to 28 here for the one-stop strategy, and then you're gonna go the distance with a 40-ish laps to get to 66 laps, being the magic number here.
This is a pretty fun battle here between two of the old guard of Vettel and Alonso.
Alonso, his home track, essentially, right?
Yeah, technically.
More or less.
Yeah, around. You'd say so. Somebody's front wing is coming off in the pit stop. I don't know. I totally missed that.
Somebody's front wing is coming off? Where?
In the pit stop, they said they need to replace it. They're hitting around 206 miles an hour on the straightaway there. I think that's the fastest we've seen.
It's pretty close.
So far, it's pretty close, I think.
Close. It's about 13 seconds.
Oh, the G-forces are crazy. I love this view. It's so cool. Oh, that's nuts.
Yeah, that is pretty neat, actually.
I mean,
now, obviously, the driver doesn't actually know that.
Well, yeah, but the driver is feeling that and moving
driver's
around.
Feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't. Well, he's not necessarily moving around, but he's pretty in there.
4 G's on that left-hander. Woof.
I'm interested to see how much they get into the braking on the first turn when they're going 206. Here's Vettel's radio. Struggling with front left and rear, but
careful, he's almost in the gravel there.
Yeah,
you saw Perez in the gravel.
That was Perez's problem. The other, that was his problem on the qualifying. And I mean, it ended up being okay for him. He managed. He did well from it, but it was actually just he put the power down when the back tire was in the gravel, and that obviously means bye-bye to the car.
Yeah, also the front left was literally in the gravel.
Yeah.
And managed to spin out, but no damage to the car or anything.
Yeah, no damage to the car, but probably they won't use that set of tires.
Yeah, probably not going to use that set of tires.
Because when you spin out like that, it basically balls the tire in that one spot that it's spinning, and it absolutely destroys it.
All right, so coming into the pit stop strategy here for the one stops. Should open up in about a lap or two. That's what we're expecting to see.
Yeah, otherwise, the pit stops for the teams in front should be opening up somewhat soon.
Otherwise, it has been follow the leader as Verstappen has now punched himself a 1.2 second advantage. And Bottas also saying that he's struggling with the rear tires. This is the same thing that Hamilton was saying earlier. So both Mercedes in a bit of a pickle. Now, the pit stops have been quite good for the Red Bulls and Verstappen, right? Somewhere in the realm of 2.5 to 3 seconds. And we've seen Bottas get griefed by his pit crew in the past few races.
Yeah, Bottas has had literally the last two times. If he had a second off or had the same Lewis Hamilton pit stop, he would have been up a place. And here they're losing an average of 22 seconds per pit. Vettel does eventually come in after complaining about his tires, getting to set the mediums on, and then he's good to go. It is kind of a long pit. Yeah, I was right. It is a long pit stop.
Yeah, 4 seconds. Alonso had 2.5.
Yeah, which he increased the gap there. Alonso increased the gap by at least 0.5 seconds, which actually makes a difference, and it's going to end up throwing Vettel behind him even further.
I am curious
That
to
was
see
brutal, actually. Wow.
if both Hamilton and Verstappen come in on the same lap or not.
Hamilton and Verstappen.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. I got you. Yeah. The Haas making the move there at Alpine.
Hamilton is putting in the quickest lap times though, but he just can't catch Verstappen right now. He's still about a second behind. And actually the gap between second and third continues to expand. So the two are real or in first and second are really doing their own thing here, and it's gone from 4 seconds friend to 8 into third place here with Leclerc and the Ferrari, and then it's like everybody else. And then it's because it's Bottas and Leclerc in the Ferrari, and then Ricardo is 9 seconds behind Bottas. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's it. Pretty good pit times from Stroll and Sainz though, 2.3 and 2.2.
Those ones are going pretty quickly. I mean, the Stroll did much better than Vettel's. Vettel's got an extra 1.5 seconds on that one, unfortunately.
We've seen most of the cars now in the bottom 10 positions pit and switch onto the medium tires.
Yeah, because the ones in front don't necessarily, they want to eke out as much as they necessarily can.
Yep.
Right? So the ones in the front, if you have that much gap and with the gap that they created, it doesn't, it's kind of a battle within just them at this point, right? Unless something absolutely crazy happens.
Yeah, but with fewer chances to actually overtake, that means also fewer chances for crazy things to happen. Bottas is
is
now
coming into the pit here.
Let's see what the time is here. 2.7.
Good one.
It's the best
good
one
one
so
for
far
Bottas.
we've seen this season here. 2.7 from Bottas, a sub 3.
But what does that do? That does, yeah. I guess Mercedes doesn't really have much of an option. Because he's stuck behind Leclerc, so he basically just has to go.
Yep, may as well.
And then
bring
here's
him
going
in.
to see a McLaren pit stop. Are we watching someone's GoPro?
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool, but I kind of was like nauseated for a second. I was like, "What's going on?"
That was Norris's pit stop there.
Norris with the 2.6, absolutely nice there.
Very good. So so Norris coming in before his teammate. They're leaving the McLaren, leaving Ricardo out there, currently in fourth, and Verstappen will be the first to pit of the two leaders.
This is very interesting. The tire performance, trying to understand how much tires they have.
Yeah, Verstappen has a lap on Hamilton.
Yeah, this is what that's kind of what I was saying earlier. Verstappen's going to go to the pit, okay?
Yep. Verstappen will be in the pit first.
Mercedes, okay, so this is the Bottas goes short, Hamilton goes long.
All right, let's see what ends up happening here. The Verstappen pit feels slow. A little slow. And it was 4.2 seconds. 4.2 seconds. It felt slow, and it was.
Yeah, I mean, if Hamilton here has a pit stop under 3 seconds, he's in the lead.
In theory,
because the gap to them, yeah, in theory, he would be in the lead.
Either he's in the lead or they're going to collide coming out of turn 1.
Yeah,
as they
exactly.
come out of the pit
Yeah,
stop and into turn
either
one.
that or they'll hit each other right away. And I think Lewis is going to pit on this one. I couldn't hear what they were saying there.
Well, they know. They know how long the pit stop was. They know what the gap was. And Verstappen is going to have an extra lap on the tires. So that was Verstappen at lap 24.
Verstappen's also not going to be able. Verstappen still has to warm up these mediums as well. The mediums take a little bit, not longer. They take shorter to warm up than the softs, but it is. And then Hamilton will be in front, actually.
Well, so it's about an 80% chance that Hamilton overtakes with about a 1.1 second gap, is what the AWS AI is telling us. Yes. For all those joining us now, make sure to jump into Discord,
Wow,
and if you
this is
want
wild, actually.
the race itself is there. We're gonna see the pit change here. We're expecting to see Hamilton come into the pit a gap of maybe half a second, depending on the pit speed for Hamilton, if he is in fact to overtake Verstappen. Although
The
this
chance of overtake continues to go down, down, and down.
Verstappen has great pace here, and now
To
the actual prediction is that Verstappen will remain in the lead despite the 4-second pit stop.
Ricardo's pit stop here was a pretty quick one, 3 seconds, not too bad from the McLaren team. Better him than Lando. Yeah, that's a really. So in reality, Mercedes.
What was he saying?
I don't
know. Mercedes was talking to their race control there.
The blue flag is to, hey, you have to let the guy pass behind you if you're getting blue flagged, which is typically happens when you're coming out of the pit, and also in situations like that. When they show the shot of the pit, you see someone waving a blue flag. I don't know if he was talking about that or he was talking about it throughout the track. I don't think there was that much context given.
So interestingly enough, Hamilton had an extra lap on his tires and he will not pit on lap 27, but he will take an extra 3 laps on the tires currently, and the predicted gap is actually now well in the favor of Verstappen. I think they're giving him the benefit of having the new tires.
The nicer tires at the end, and basically banking on the fact that Hamilton will just outrace him. Well, he's got a different predicting gap than we do.
What do they say?
Horner says he's 2.5 seconds ahead.
He's 2 point. Well, it said about 2, so it was close.
Yeah, close.
Yeah.
So Mercedes maybe should have not. Almost Mercedes should have matched the pit.
That's why I was saying, like, who's going to go in first?
If it doesn't work, in hindsight 2020, they should have just matched the pits up.
Yeah, it's a little difficult though, because like Verstappen is ahead. So what are you gonna? You're gonna see him peer off, and then you're going, "Oh, me too," but your pit crew isn't ready. So like how?
Yeah, I know. This was a pretty bad stop.
It was a slow stop. We called this out when it happened. It was like, this feels slow.
Oh yeah, the front left one.
Although right now it may not necessarily cost him. Verstappen, who has just put in the fastest lap time, and I think Perez is going to pit. Yes, Perez is going into the pit right now. Yeah, because we're saying the pit stops, the average time in a pit stop is 22 seconds,
yep.
Right? The gap right now between Hamilton and Verstappen is 17. So he's plus 5 at the moment. Leclerc has yet to pit as well. He's currently in second, but needs to pit himself. The Ferrari out there for some extra laps. 28 is the lap count right now. This is on the high end of where we expected the one-stop strategy to be. So expect Hamilton to come in here in the next lap or so. And we saw, what was it, last week, that like keeping cars out there, they tried to keep Perez out there for eternity.
It doesn't really work.
It didn't really work at all.
Yeah.
So here comes Hamilton.
Come into the pit here.
I am watching Verstappen now here on the little mini map trying. He is
Yeah,
coming
he's
across the
going.
final turn and now is about to hit the straightaway. It was a
That
2
was a good
point
pit.
second stop from Hamilton as Verstappen is on the
Yeah, he's gonna
straightaway and
pass
he's
him.
going to overtake him right now. There, Hamilton watches Verstappen go right by him. Uh, this is it's
That's a
actually
way bigger
considerable.
gap than I thought.
It is considerable. Hamilton basically exiting the pit lane as Verstappen hit turn
Wow,
1.
that Leclerc pit stop was amazing. 2.2
2.2 from the
seconds. Jesus.
Ferraris. The gap
Wow.
6 seconds, friend. It was
Yeah, the
worse than
gap
we had
opened up
thought.
even further
Even
there than at
further.
6 seconds. Yeah, I mean that every lap they kept going, you were losing time
They were
basically.
losing. You were absolutely losing time. You were. This was like last week where they just kept Perez out, and it was like a second per lap that they kept him out, just like
Yeah, it's like you
wasn't
just keep
working.
losing it. It's just not worth it at
Yep.
all.
So 20. This is 24 for Hamilton. No, sorry, 24 for Verstappen, and then 28 for Hamilton. So four laps worth of age difference on the tires. We'll see if it ends up making a difference at the end of the
I
race.
think everybody has pitted, so I think
Everyone has
everybody's back
pitted.
in their like normal spots. Yeah, and nothing has really changed. The only thing that's really changed is Norris actually falling back even further. I think Raikkonen has to pit,
Mm,
or
maybe, yeah,
did they
maybe.
actually play that really well? Or is he on two stop strategy? Is that why?
Well, he's on mediums, so the two-stop strategy would be softs, but
Then they absolutely played a blinder.
then maybe they did get it right. The
I,
interesting one
I,
too
I
is
don't know if
this.
that sticks, but he was not in sixth before this. Let me
Um,
tell you, he was at the bottom.
Leclerc down to fourth, Bottas with and it's now a 9-second gap.
This is, I think this is, or no, Raikkonen getting lapped by.
No,
Yeah,
he's on
Raikkonen's
the
been on the
same
mediums from the same one from the
he's on
start.
the
Yeah,
same
yeah, yeah.
lap.
Yeah. Okay. No, but he hasn't
Oh,
pitted
he hasn't
Kimmy.
pitted. Okay, all
That's
right.
why I was confused. It was like there has to be at least one person because all the places aren't the same.
Well, I mean, Leclerc lost a spot, lost a lot of time, even though
Yeah,
his
and
pit was really fast.
this is gonna be interesting here. This is gonna be
You're right. There's
Verstappen
Raikkonen
and
for zero.
Hamilton are going to start running into some traffic, and then the move was trying to be made there by the LP. He's going to take the inside. He does, and he's going to be able to get past the Haas.
Norris still sitting at 10. Well, he'll be right back to 9 once Raikkonen ends up going in.
Wow, this is a lot of traffic here. Gasly's on the inside, Vettel's on the outside, and then he's going to try to make the move on Giovinazzi as well. Vettel gets a little more space. He's going to try to take the inside on this turn. He's going to get Giovinazzi. I think he's going to get the young Italian. He does get the young Italian. Nice move there by Vettel to get back up into 13th, and now he's got to go hunt down Alonso. Gasly's going to have to try to hunt down Giovinazzi as Hamilton puts in the fastest lap.
Lap time's coming down. 121.2 is the fastest lap time here. It was actually 1.4 seconds faster than Verstappen, so eating into a bit of the lead that was 6 seconds when he exited the pit, now down to 3.4.
If you want to watch the race itself, we have a viewing party is always in Discord. You can always join that, throw it up, and then keep us up too if you want. As well. And then this is the Perez move that got him up into sixth on his newer tires. And then Perez is hunting down Ricardo. And then the Ferrari is going to make the move on the AlphaTauri here, or the Alfa Romeo, which I think is Kimi. Yes.
Yes, it is. So the
Everybody's slowly getting in front of Kimi.
You're saying that Perez is hunting down the McLaren here.
Yep.
0.6 seconds.
He's
is the
within,
gap.
yeah, he's within a small, he's in his gap, so he's
Yep,
ready.
he's in striking distance here. Perez trying to work his way up. Started down in 8th place, is now finding his way up to 6th, trying to make it 5. But Mercedes now 2 and 3, and the gap actually shrinking between Verstappen and Hamilton. Maybe Verstappen hitting some of the traffic that's
I
slowing him
think
down.
that, and also I think Verstappen though is taking care of his tires. I don't because he doesn't necessarily need to push
Hamilton
as much.
is
Hamilton
flooring it at the
is
moment.
absolutely just flying. He's at two fastest laps, improving on his time there, and then there's the AlphaTauri making the move there. Gasly on Raikkonen.
121.2 for Hamilton, a second sequential fastest lap time. That one about 0.02 of a second faster. He is putting in 1.5 second faster lap times, which is why the gap has come down so significantly here. 6 second gap down to 2. And we'll see if the Hamilton can continue to do that. Hamilton, great pace here.
Oh, almost was able to make the move there, but this is the problem with this track, right? There's not actually many places you could make a pass.
Well, you can try to do it on the straights, but the hunt is on as well here. Perez.
And Ricardo, it seems like Ricardo and Norris swapped cars this weekend.
Yeah, maybe they just put them in a different car.
I have no idea what it is, but Ricardo was not going this fast.
You get that one, and you go into that one, and there. The gap continuing to shrink between first and second, which is actually kind of interesting.
Which I think makes sense. He's got the fresher tires.
Yeah, by about 4 laps worth. So we'll have to see if if anything that matters late. I don't know right now.
It doesn't. It won't matter right now.
Perez a little sloppy here.
Yeah, he lost time. He hit the curb on that one and then couldn't get the grip down and it made him lose too much time. So I mean, he does have the DRS activated. He'll get close, but he won't be able to make the pass.
He'll get really close.
Interesting. The DRS difference of miles per hour is like 10 to 20.
Yeah.
That was interesting to be able to see them both. And he carries so much more speed into the corners than Ricardo. Even with that, it's crazy how much the 10, 15 miles an hour really make such a difference. And then Verstappen's going to make the, going to get out of the way there. I think that's the Alfa Romeo. And then this is getting closer.
This is getting very close. Hamilton is now within.
Than I thought. This is going to be within DRS.
Yeah, no DRS here. He's just beyond 1 second, so he can't turn it on the straightaway. Verstappen's got to start to put the pedal down here. Because Hamilton...
Yeah, Verstappen needs to push.
Look at this. This is what we were saying here. 1.3 second, 1.51. Hamilton has made up 2.8, 3.8, 4.5 seconds in 4 laps.
Yeah, it's almost as if like he stopped
pushing. That or he ran into traffic.
Or the traffic was a really big problem.
You have Mazepin, who is now a lap down, so there is potential to...
Anybody surprised?
to run into the other cars.
I'm not.
Well, I mean, this kind of was where things were before the pit, I suppose. Oh, little slip there from Hamilton.
Yeah, the back went out on him a little bit.
Coming around turn 13 here, gonna hit the straightaway on the front side.
Yeah,
wow.
this is
weren't even on the track.
Yeah, they weren't even on the track. That was it was like straight up in the air.
What does the little purple timer next to Hamilton's name mean? Yes, it means he has the fastest lap time.
He has the fastest lap.
Which, if the race ended right now, would mean that he has an extra point. Yep.
I'm also going to take my halftime restroom break.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I can so I can see the end of it.
Yeah, we have hit the 35, and Frank can't last that long. He needs his own pit stop at around halfway through the races. He's going to have to work on that. Verstappen's still doing a little follow the leader here in Sector 2, although the Hamilton was only able to make up 21 thousandths. I got to make sure I got my moved the decimal correctly. 21 thousandths of a second. DRS currently active. Hamilton going almost 190 on the Sector 2 straightaway. Oh, you're back.
Yeah, it was quick. Ugh. Nursing a little hangover this morning. I feel old.
Yeah, there you go. And remember, folks, if you need the race itself, we are closing in here on the second half of the race.
It is the second
It
half.
is the
We're past 33
30,
laps.
30 laps to go. Jump into Discord if you'd like the race itself. The gaps here. Wow, Hamilton actually trying to make a move on Verstappen. Got the gap
Not
down
gonna
to
get it
point
this time.
0.4. Not going to get it, though. The DRS making quite a difference. I mean, it's going to be neck and neck. This
I'm
could be
really confused because I don't understand how he's going so much faster than him. I'm still like, I still don't understand if Verstappen's nursing the tires or not, or he's like at this point like I just need to push.
Well, so Verstappen's lap time he's shaved off about 0.7
Yeah, he's gone
of a
back.
second on his lap times. So he is now down to 121 and a half.
Wind has picked up, but it's only 3.6 kilometers an hour, which is like
it's
nothing.
Nothing, basically.
I guess it affects it differently, but I don't. In qualifying last week, we were seeing almost like 20 miles an hour or stuff like that. That
sector. In sector 3 for Verstappen, he's got 1.1 second to extend the lead here, trying to keep the DRS from turning on here on the straightaway, and he will actually. No DRS here for Hamilton as the lead stays out to about a second.
I think that's going to be the goal and the line that Verstappen basically has to tread for the rest of the race is can we not get him? Here's the pit strategy, which is technically more challenging, which is the
the one-stop strategy, which is what all the leaders are currently going for.
Yeah, which is what.
But Mercedes is banking on 4 extra laps of tire age because they kept Hamilton out there for 4 extra laps, putting at lap 28 instead of 24.
And if you were them right now, the only hindsight, you could have pitted them at the same time and Lewis would be in the lead, but you probably couldn't really have done that logically. So if you really think about it, Mercedes isn't in a terrible position.
They're not in a terrible position. They also are in 2 and 3. Bottas is literally like Bottas is 7 seconds behind Hamilton, and another 10 seconds in front of Leclerc.
When did he get in front of Leclerc?
At the pit exchange.
Oh, it was when he pitted. Yeah,
it was the pit exchange, right? So
pit exchange, right.
Bottas is like looking around his car and being like, "Where is everybody?" He's like literally racing on his own.
Yeah, if you're thinking almost in that situation too for Bottas, he doesn't. I mean, he should push, but he's also like, I need to save my tires. If anything happens, blah, blah,
what's
blah.
he gonna push to? His teammate
there's nothing
in
he
second?
can push to. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it doesn't really help anything. And here, DRS was activated, and there is a car in front of Verstappen here that they're gonna have to get by.
This is gonna be Schumacher, I think.
And it is. Yeah, I think it's Schumacher.
It's either Schumacher or Mazepin. You'd be interested to see if he could actually slipstream behind one of the slower cars. Norris finally passing Raikkonen. Actually, Raikkonen, who is now going into the pit. There's the 2-stop pit strategy that we're seeing out of Raikkonen.
Williams there. Nice move. That really popped out of nowhere. Good job by Latifi there on Giovinazzi. It's really nice. Looks like we're at the U.S. Open with the Rolex advertisements. Or at a tennis or golfing event.
Yeah.
But I guess they are all, I guess, targeting the same market.
Yes, targeting the same market. Rather expensive clientele.
Yeah, the expensive sports. This one has a little more upstart cost than tennis, though.
True, because you kind of need to buy a car.
Yeah,
car being a bit more expensive than a tennis racket usually, as they go,
or
a set of golf clubs.
Set of golf clubs depends on which one you.
So, Perez still trying to hunt, but can't
I was literally about to say the Perez thing. If you're sitting here looking at it from a Red Bull perspective and you're looking for points, you really need Perez to get in front of Ricardo, because I'm pretty sure Ricardo's holding him up to even get to the Ferrari. I'm not going to say that Perez is going to be able to get 17 seconds necessarily on Leclerc, but it's definitely holding him up, and they really want that extra spot. A 1.5 would be much better than a
1.6 right now.
Yeah, it makes a difference, right? Especially when you have Mercedes getting 2 3s like that.
Ocon still doing strong, though. The Alpine still holding in there, now in 8th position at the moment. Alonso, the second Alpine, currently out of the top 10, about 2 seconds behind Lance Stroll. We'll see if that holds up. But yeah, the Ferrari
Actually,
way off the
I
pace
lied.
here.
It actually does look windier now that I'm looking at the flags.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to. It doesn't pop up on our radar, which is where I feel like it would actually make a
Paolo's saying
difference
is
here.
they gave away track position for 4 laps of fresh tires, which is kind of that's the strategy that we have to see at the end of the race. Does 4 laps of
Actually, make a
freshness
difference.
make a difference?
But I mean, it also wasn't the worst thing in the world because they're back at the same spot, right? Like this is exactly.
Yeah, they are back in the same spot, which we just say, okay, so he's got 4 laps of extra fresh tires. You might make it up.
Yeah.
But both cars here, they're 5 thousandths off on their last lap. So I have to believe.
I'm just curious when this goes down to the 5 to 10 laps, like the full push,
Yeah.
like what the cars can really do, what they have left in them.
I'm curious if we've seen. I'm not sure if we've seen the fastest laps out of all these cars yet.
No,
You
no,
said they
no
were
way.
qualifying at around
I thought they were like
116, 117. That's
Yeah.
4 seconds worth. Yeah.
Let me see. Sorry, I want to be right about that time. Yeah, 116 was the fastest lap yesterday in qualifying.
116.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that we noted too is that the max stop is whoa. He went
He
way.
lost the rear
He
on
lost,
that
yeah,
one.
he lost the rear on that when it went right over
But
the
he
edge.
does
He
have the
didn't get
DRS.
any
Let's
grip.
see. 100 miles an hour. He's got 13 miles an hour is the difference. Not bad.
Yep.
13 miles an hour is the difference on the straightaway with the
And here,
DRS.
doctor said Hamilton probably used up the 4 laps of tires just trying to catch up the 4 seconds. Yeah, I don't disagree
Could
with that.
be.
I think that is true, but you also have to think about the position that Mercedes was necessarily in before that. They couldn't. You can mirror someone's pit, yes, but also and then
Wow, Ricardo and Perez almost an incident in turn one
yeah,
there.
that was
Go ahead and finish your
weird.
thought.
Um, I lost my train of thought. I'm not
Well,
sure
you
where
can
it is
mirror their
anymore.
pit stop there, because chat
Oh
was saying it
yes,
was
you could.
basically
Yes, you
used
could
up
have
the 4
mirrored the
seconds.
pit stop, but that also means that like there was only that one lap where he actually could have gotten in front, and you also had to look at it from a Mercedes perspective. Are you going to bank on the fact Red Bull does a 4 second pit stop instead of a 2.7 or 2.5, right? Because you also have to think if that 4 second pit stop doesn't happen, then that gap is non-existent. There was actually no way he could have passed him.
Mm.
So, like, if you're Mercedes banking on that, I think would just be way too risky. I think they did okay. I think they could have done better. Maybe they could have done slightly better, hindsight on the strategy, but they're really not in a bad position. I don't think you could be that upset if you're them.
Oh my gosh!
Ultimately, the only thing you could really be upset about is the fact that Verstappen passed him on the first lap.
Yeah, Hamilton wants to pull the pass on Verstappen to do the reverse of what he did to him. This is going to be This is just going to be nuts. When you get to, I think when we get to around lap 60 in about 18 laps time, which is probably like 20 minutes
I
from
think
now.
this is Perez and Ricardo here. Yep, they're battling out. And it's crazy. You actually saw the
Oh,
completely
Ricardo went
saw
off the track.
Yeah, Perez lost it when he was
Yep, trying to come around too much speed.
You saw it when he was going around the turn. The car actually lost traction and it completely messed the rest of the line for him. And that's the Lewis one when he goes right up there on the side barrier right there. When that rear tire hits that and then the actual contact point is gone and it's just right there, you lose complete grip.
We've seen that a couple times now today.
Yeah, really good job of being actually able to hold it. Yeah, anything can happen. Mazepin is still on the track.
Verstappen complaining that the Mercedes have much more grip than he does here at the moment,
which is weird. Whoa!
Wait,
he's going two-stop strategy.
Wow.
Did not expect that at all.
He did not see this one coming. All right, Hamilton is into the pit at lap 43. That was 15 laps of tires, and he will be in and out in 2.3 seconds. That was a wicked fast pit
stop too. Yeah, that thing was. And Red Bull pit team is like, what?
Wow. So we'll have. So he went 15 laps on those tires, and is now gonna go remaining 23. So they're actually pulling a two-stop strategy there. Now I wonder if this kind of
Wait, this opens it up completely for Hamilton to be able to actually make up that time on brand new fresh tires. Also,
yeah,
and
but
he's
you
only
did
down
put
by
yourself
14
behind
seconds.
because of the pit. So
Yeah, but it's only a 14-second gap, and he's on completely new fresh tires, and it puts all the pressure onto Verstappen
yep.
here to either
Would you
you have to
match that?
pit, which if he pits, he's going to be behind him.
I'm trying to figure out how
This
that's
got
possible.
this got confusing.
No, friend. No.
Oh, I read the gap wrong.
That's you've got the
He's
the gap
still a
is wrong.
second.
It's
22
22.4
seconds.
seconds is the gap to first. It's 12 seconds to second. He's behind Bottas. Okay, so
Which is going to go away in a heartbeat because he's pushing all the way on these tires.
yeah,
Like he's
exactly.
going all
Okay.
out.
So 22.3 is the gap when Hamilton left the pit lane to first. So let's monitor from there. All right. So 22.3 is what we're saying. And the prediction is that if Verstappen is to pit, 1.6 seconds would be the gap right now. That's the prediction.
This is.
This just got wild.
I'd
I'm not
absolutely
sure.
be peeing my pants if I was a Red Bull guy because I have no idea what to do here.
Yeah,
This is
because
kind of
if you
wild.
could gamble and say, well, we pit two, and then if your stop is slower, you're
Some
host.
nerdy engineer in Mercedes has plugged something into the computer and figured it out and been like, "This is what we got to do."
Because if you're gonna do it, you have to do it now. Or hold on, I would do it at.
He's got 22
laps.
seconds on 22 laps, so I mean, make the math. He's got to make a second
He's
a
gone.
lap.
He's gone 21
it.
laps on these tires. And if you went another 21 laps, you would finish the race. So you would have symmetrical tire wear if you pitted right now, based on how you're doing. So I guess you'd have to ask.
What do you do if you're Red Bull? You have to stay out, right?
Hamilton, by the way, just put in the fastest lap, 120.775. So this is the first time we've seen laps under 121 so far in today's race, and the gap has gone from 22.3 down to 20.7, so 2.5 seconds shaved off. So if you're gonna pit, you got to do it now.
Fresh tire pressures max make him use up his tire second pit stop. Yes. Wow.
What do you say?
At this rate, he catches on the last lap.
He catches on the last lap. Maybe.
This is very interesting.
If he's making up a second per lap in 21, yes, he catches on the last lap.
Toto sitting over there. I'm a genius. See if it works. This got way more interesting.
It sure did. And the other thing, so the other reason they did it, I think, here's the other reason they did it, is because there was such a huge gap between
it doesn't
Bottas
change
and
anything.
Leclerc.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. It doesn't actually change that much.
You don't lose anything.
You didn't
for doing
lose
this
the position
points wise as a
Ferrari.
team.
Yep.
As a personal, I'd be kind of pissed if I was Hamilton, sort of ish, but he can make it back. I'm sure they'll also tell Bottas you have to let him by. I'm also assuming that's going to happen.
This is an interesting point is that they could pit in a few for softs. We saw them go. They started on softs and they went 24. They went 24 laps with that. They went from 24 plus
you're saying
3.
Throw Verstappen back on softs and let him chase
and let him go. Yeah.
I don't think he'll ever catch him. I don't think the cars actually. I actually the Red Bull and the Mercedes I think are close, but I don't think the Red Bull's faster in the sense like I don't think the Red Bull can actually catch it.
Right, and here's Perez actually finally finished
I
his
mean, he
hunt.
caught him on the straightaway just because it was the start of the race. I think. Like, I don't actually think he has the pace to straight up pass him. I only think it goes one way. I only think the Mercedes has the pace, and that move there by Perez on Ricardo, which we were talking about, hopefully would happen, finally did happen, and it was a beautiful move.
Yeah, but now you're in trouble because if the average pit stop is 22 seconds, the gap is only 18.3. You're on the wrong side of the math at the moment.
Correct, but they were on the right side of the math a few laps ago.
They were on the right side of the math a few laps ago. They could have pitted and they would have basically come out in the same spot that they
Literally,
started
kind of
this
like
thing.
right next to each other.
Yeah.
They would have started, and they would have.
Although,
He would have still been a
but
was
then
at 23 seconds, right? So basically, Red Bull would have still been in front with fresher tires, and it would have been back to
no,
the
no,
same
no, no,
position.
no, no, no. Bottas would have been in front, and Mercedes could have left Bottas
Oh,
out
yes,
and
you're
been
right.
like, just do whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
stay out until
stay
the
out,
end.
stay out. And if your tires don't last at the end, like, so what? Like, Hamilton
So
will end up
this
winning
is
the race, and you'll like come in fifth or something. Like, it
so
doesn't
this
matter.
is the situation in which you look at teams and you're like, wow, look at what Mercedes can do and what Red Bull can't do. I mean, you basically have a two-car strategy that squeezes the one car.
Yeah, and well, by the way, you have
You've
Ricardo
you've
and Sainz that are
completely
coming to the pit.
squeezed him.
You have squeezed him here because that was the other consideration. You're like, well, why doesn't Verstappen just pit? Well, because Bottas would now be in first, and Mercedes could just leave him out there. And you say, all
And
right,
then
just let him
ultimately to
go.
them, if they get a 1-3, 2-3, it doesn't really matter. All they're really trying to do is just make sure Verstappen doesn't win.
Hamilton's at down to 16, by the way. He's shaved off 8 seconds. Um,
Verstappen radio. That's not good. If you're a Red Bull fan,
yeah,
he says, "I don't see how we're going to make it to the end." And he's also being slowed down by these cars in front of him as well, which doesn't really help the chase. The gap is only
he's made up. So Hamilton is shrunk 7 seconds in 5 laps. He's flying, man.
yeah.
This
I
is going
mean,
to be an interesting
there
finish.
also is the other thing. Everybody can hear each other's radio, so he could be lying. But
Wait, can they really?
yeah,
Oh. Well, jump into Discord, by the way, folks. For those of you new, jump into Discord if you want to watch the end of the race here. We have 18 laps to go, and it is shaping up to be quite a finish as Mercedes has gone in for a two-stop strategy to put Hamilton on fresher tires and is running down Verstappen at the moment. 15 seconds separates third and first, which is really what we're watching because I guess the expectation is that Hamilton will overtake Bottas. And Frank has gone off screen for the moment. Yeah. And I don't know where he went. Anyway, 14.3. So yeah, it looks like Hamilton will catch
something was
Verstappen.
beeping, and
Oh,
I had to turn it off. It was my phone that I left in my other room.
oh,
I
there you
was like,
go.
"What is that noise?"
It definitely does look like Verstappen is going to get caught. Hamilton put in 1.7
Oh, he's gone. He just made
7
up 2 seconds on one lap.
in one lap. But I think that Verstappen is on tire preservation. Kind of as
Yeah,
they
he's
say. He
not gonna.
has to be.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
has
yeah,
to
yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
Because he
This
was
is
even
the
saying he wasn't
Lando's
going to
moving
make
up.
it.
This is kind of what we were talking about earlier in the race too. Like, what's going on? This car's way faster.
Well, Ricardo pitted
Correct. Yes.
and
So
went to
Ricardo went.
softs, by the way.
Yeah, because Ricardo they copied the Mercedes strategy. Look where they are, right?
Yeah.
And look at the gaps of the other cars. It makes sense why they did it. Let's send one long and we'll keep one on the softs and let the other one go. And it seems like Ricardo has more pace this race. I don't like I said, I don't know if they literally swapped the cars. Like I have no idea what's going on. Or he finally figured out how to drive this car. I have no clue. But he credit to him, he's been doing incredibly well this race, and it's nice to actually be able to see that. Raikkonen's going to make a move there on Latifi, and then Ricardo and Norris here trade places. This is kind of weird because at the beginning of the season we saw that Norris was the one that was getting all the, hey, you can go ahead type treatment.
22.3 was the gap when he pitted in lap 43 to the
Also,
leader.
yes, we do have the
12.5.
live pictures in Discord. If you want to hop in and watch, have the watch party, hang out still on YouTube, it'd be cool. And then you can listen to us and also see the race live.
Or throw in your comments as well as what you think is going to happen right now. The math
Yeah.
works out in
Also,
Mercedes'
whatever
favor.
you think is going to happen, let us know. Because this is a really cool camera angle. By the way, we haven't seen
over
this
the shoulder.
before. Yeah, this is really neat.
The
Signs
Ferrari getting up.
here in the
Oh
front.
my goodness!
Oh my god.
215 miles an hour there. Whew. With the DRS and Sainz
Wow, that
overtakes
was
Norris.
yeah, that was. I'm not gonna say risky, but oof, wow, that's a nice one. That was a good job by Norris there. He kind of knows he's gonna get overtaken. He's got the pace. Just get out of the way and let the Ferrari go. It's fair. It's good driving. There it is. He's seeing him. Seeing him. See him. Yep. Let him go.
So Hamilton currently sitting 1.7 seconds behind his teammate Bottas. You do wonder if they do they try to make they're on the radio. What was the radio communication?
He's basically saying that you guys are on different strategies and that Hamilton is behind you and his gap to the leader is X amount.
11.5 right now. Yeah, but is there a call to let him go?
No, not yet.
Not yet, right? It's saying the invite isn't valid. Well, just
It's probably a new one.
Just do a new one if it's not working. Black and white flag for car 4, which is Norris.
Wait, what? Why were they?
I don't know. I didn't
Was
catch
it because of his defense move that he made? Here's Bottas radio. Yeah, basically told him to let Lewis go.
Yeah, they did. All right, gap is 11.2. There are 14 laps to go, and Hamilton has been making
We'll
one.
see if he lets him go.
Well, if he doesn't, he's inting. Because, like, he's going to slow down his teammate.
He would have let him pass already.
Or when are they going to actually?
I mean, Bottas has said many times he doesn't do this anymore, and he doesn't like it. So,
well, in that case, Max is like, you know, this is a great thing for Max. Hamilton's going to try to go outside.
Now,
Hamilton got him.
It doesn't even look like he's trying to let him go by. Yeah, he's pissed.
Yeah, as they're saying, a proper overtake.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's exactly right. He lost 4/10 in Sector 2 on the leader. Verstappen's sitting there saying, all right, you want to fight for it, go for it.
Yeah, he, as the commentator just said what I sort of said, Valtteri in the past has always done this, but in recent years, and also if you watch the Formula One, hold on, trying. Max
is not happy.
Yeah. Yeah, basically what I was saying is if you watch the Formula One series on Netflix too, I mean, it's been going on a lot that Valtteri always has to play second fiddle. And I mean, after 5 or 6 years, it's pretty annoying, especially because Valtteri is a pretty good driver as well. I mean, he is a very good driver. So he's just like, I'm done with this type of like letting him go by and I'm just going to race. So.
Lando only has one pit. Colors. There was a question there in chat. There's only one pit for Norris, but he is in 11th at the moment.
Ferrari
will overtake the Alpine on the outside. A DRS there. That Sainz going to take 7th position away from Ocon.
Yeah, the Lando did pit. They're on the 1 pit strategy though, and Ricardo's on the 2. Or
Well,
no,
I mean, it's okay. At
no,
this
they threw
point,
Norris back down on the 2. I think pretty much, or Valtteri has now come into the pit.
this is you
Or,
can't. Yeah, I mean, at this point, Red Bull is committed. Like they can't pit.
Ooh,
What the heck just happened there with
that,
McLaren? Oh,
yeah.
Bottas pitted.
Yeah, Bottas is pitted. Yeah, yeah.
Bottas pitted. Okay,
Because he
Bottas and take the fastest lap.
and the reason why Norris pit is or why he dropped is because he pitted.
He pitted a second time.
Yeah, he's going on to pit. I think all the
Okay.
teams are realizing they can't make it.
Well, Red Bull's gonna have to.
Well, Red Bull doesn't have a choice.
They don't have a choice.
These other teams do have choices. God, it is so close when they overtake. It is unbelievable. Like literally millimeters.
The gap is 8 seconds, and
he just
there
dropped
are
the
11
fastest lap.
Yeah, he did just drop the fastest lap, 120.6. It was
Will
2 seconds
will this
faster.
Haas in front of him do any favors to Max? Is the question.
Let's see, right?
Is he gonna get out of the way as easy as? Yep. Yeah.
All right, so he will be. The prediction is that Hamilton would be within striking distance
2
in
laps,
9 laps, and there's 11 laps left in the race. So there you go. This is actually going to come in for an exciting finish.
Yeah, this will be basically a photo finish.
Although
Not
you have
photo
to,
finish, but
we have to think: is there another gear for Verstappen or not?
yeah,
Because if he has been on tire preservation, then he's done a pretty good job of it so far.
I don't see anything.
Maybe a little bit on the right rear.
On the right rear, there's a blister.
A little bit on the right rear. Let's see,
12.
12.
Is
Hamilton
wait,
has Hamilton.
He's got a
too.
huge blister on the right tire.
Yeah, so right
Dude,
rear.
Pirelli is just inting the whole field.
Well, the right rear not looking good for
Awful
either
tires.
Car. Either car, really.
Oh yeah, driver of the day. Well, I don't think we can pick driver of the day until the race ends with this one. Norris is here going to make a move on Russell, but he has the pit, so it should be an easy move. Russell gets out of the way on the straightaway. Nice job there. And then Norris should basically have this time to climb up. He's only got a 1 second gap to Alonso here. And then, as I said, Bottas puts in the fastest lap with the freshest set of tires on here.
Yep, 120.9. 0.09 rather. All right. So 11 laps.
Down to 5.5.
10 laps to go. Yeah, and he's down to 5.5.
This is getting nerve-wracking.
Hamilton's going to have to overtake this Williams car too, though.
I'm also getting nervous. And here's Bottas right on the tail of Leclerc with the way fresher tires. I mean, Bottas is on softs.
Yeah, but
Leclerc's on 27 lap mediums.
Leclerc can't pit either. If he wants to hold third, he can't.
Yeah,
pit.
he can't. And well, also if he wants to hold fourth, he can't pit. Ferrari's going to want to take the points.
That's true.
And then Perez is also on the second set. I forget.
Because
Did
Perez
pit twice?
Is at
no, he didn't.
3.5.
Did Perez pit twice?
Let's take a look here. Tire history. Perez is yes. No. Perez only has the one stop.
Okay, so he's still on the one stop, so he's probably not going to be able to. And Bottas does make the move there on Leclerc, gets in front of him there. TLDR on soft versus medium. Medium tires go longer. They're not as fast. Soft tires are faster, and they do not last as long.
Yeah, they wear out more quickly.
There's around a 1 second difference between tire compounds, or like 1.5, 1 second difference. It's typically the difference on the like soft versus mediums or mediums versus hards.
Gap is down to 3 seconds. So Hamilton, in the span of about 14 laps, has made up 18 seconds.
I think this is how you read the the one that you're on right now, you see how Verstappen around his tires only has a circle, and then
Yeah.
Lewis has a circle and a dash through it? That's
Yeah.
double.
That's still okay.
Uh, Lewis is saying it's actually a kind of that it's kind of actually a funny exchange.
Interesting.
Lewis saying that he won't have any tires left, and then the pit guy is saying, "Well, that's what we're hoping Max is in the same situation." So, and there's a 10 lap difference between both of their tire sets.
There is.
Well, 12, yeah, 12 lap
12,
difference.
12 laps. 2.2 seconds is now the gap. Red Bull coming out. Is this pit for Verstappen?
No, this I think is going to
It's
be a
got to be
Perez
for
pit
Perez, right?
because of the gap from
Yeah, it is
Ricardo.
for
He has enough
Perez.
space to maybe chase down the Ferrari, but
They're
or
gonna
maybe
pit
he's also
Perez.
going fastest lap possibility if they're going to throw him on softs.
They are. Yep.
But yeah, there's enough space for him to pit and be safe. Basically, is kind of the idea. Yeah, because look at the Ferrari. Where's Ricardo behind him? Yeah, he just rounded turn 14.
Yeah. Yeah. So Perez is
Doctor
actually going
thinks
to.
it's going to be Verstappen's race. Interesting.
Who?
The doctor in chat.
Ah,
says.
okay. Verstappen. All right, so the doctor's saying Verstappen. So, chat, if you have your own opinion, and by the way, jump into Discord if you want to watch the end here. We are 7 laps to go. The interval between first and second is 1.5 seconds. Verstappen has 12 laps more on his tires than Hamilton, who went in for a second pit stop. And I guess they did it because they didn't think that they were just playing follow the leader, so they had to try something
Ricardo's
different.
not going to make it. And also for the Red Bull second pit, it's also that moment you're like, wow, the tires are getting so bad that like if something happens, like he doesn't finish the race and we lose all the points. Right? So it's like, all right, let's throw him on safer tires, no puncture possibilities, we're good to go.
Leclerc,
and then the Ferrari's
gonna pit.
basically kind of doing the same thing. The gap between him and Perez is so big that it's just like I might as well.
Yeah, it was about 30 seconds
And
there.
he was also it's actually pretty interesting. Most of these teams went into this thinking it was a one-stop strategy. And then the second Mercedes did a two-stop strategy, everybody did the two-stop strategy.
Yeah.
Basically because they probably realized the same thing Mercedes realized, like, oh my God, we literally don't have tires left.
I mean, this gap between Hamilton is
and the
now
gaps sort of
right
have worked out
on Verstappen.
And then, yeah, here it is. This is the battle we've basically all been waiting for the entire time. He's under 0.5 seconds. He needs to be under 0.4 or 0.3 to make the pass on the straightaway.
Verstappen, you can see Verstappen's trying to break the lines.
Yeah, he's not. He's trying to not give him a slipstream.
Wow, he's going to go on the outside. He's going to pass him. Hamilton got him. Wow.
Yep. Hamilton basically got it because of the tire freshness.
Wow. They should have pitted immediately.
I don't even think you'd. Yeah, there's
no way he catches him.
This is what I was saying. That there's no way the Red Bull can actually catch.
Nope. Wow.
Yeah, Verstappen doesn't have the pace to be able to catch. I mean, the pass is pretty easy.
They should have pitted immediately.
Yeah, I mean, easy. He's carrying way too much pace.
He's got the DRS. Yep.
There's nothing he can do.
Interesting. Now
they're going to pit.
They're going to pit Verstappen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's basically box and pick up the extra point.
Yep. Red Bull going to have to concede here.
Should have clipped him. That's a good stop there. Because there actually is some pressure. If that's a really bad stop, Bottas can't pass him.
Yeah, exactly.
So there actually is.
But with a 2.2 second pit stop, they should have come in. They should have just come in and gotten it done.
Yeah, in this situation, you kind of look back as Red Bull is like, wow, I should have just pitted right away. But it's also so hard to necessarily have thought that as well, right? Oh my Lord, the Alpine and the Aston Martin.
Wow.
I can't tell if he. I can't tell if he got pushed out or that was. Everybody's done a pretty
That
good
was some
job today
excitement.
avoiding contact, I have to say.
Yeah, right.
The only problem we ever ran into is the engineer that got mad at Sonoda and turned his car off.
There was the Perez now with a 119.4. So
Yeah, I mean Stroll there and literally was just pushed off the track, which is fine.
So you look at the lap times that like Perez is putting in here on the softs at 119, and you say, well, you definitely probably should have done that.
Yeah, I mean they were basically able to put 117s on the during qualifying and everything like that. So I mean now there's so much traffic going on here at this point that it's just absolute crapshoot.
Yep.
Because to be honest with you, I can't even tell who's on the same lap at this point.
Uh,
I think they're all on the same one, so it's
yeah, they
fine.
are. They're all about a lap behind.
And this is going to be a line of DRS for everybody. Yeah, everybody's within DRS range of each other, and everybody has it. The only one that doesn't is the Alpine in front. And there's Norris, and he's gonna take the move, and the AlphaTauri is gonna try to go on the inside. Alonso's gonna take the inside, but that's Gasly on the outside and does overtake him. So unfortunately, when you're the only one without DRS, you lose.
Under investigation here, Stroll and Alonso there.
Yeah, it's for that move that we saw in the last lap there, but ultimately now he kind of gets out in front. So I don't really think, I don't know. I feel like you could let it go.
Let's see. He's
It's a
coming
clean.
around. They definitely
Oh,
hit.
oh, he totally taps
There's
him.
definitely contact. Definitely contact there between the cars.
But yeah, he goes off. I don't think there's actually anything wrong. Yeah.
But I mean, Stroll comes out ahead here anyway, so Verstappen did just put in the fastest lap, 1:18.149, which is 4 seconds faster than the laps that he was putting in as he was being chased by Hamilton, which were in the 122 range. So, Fran, this is actually a really unfortunate sort of outcome here for the Red Bull, uh, who definitely has the pace, but unable to, but the wrong strategy. Ultimately,
I think it's also that situation where it's not it's like yes, they sort of went with the wrong strategy, but they never put themselves in a position to really have any other strategy, right? Which is in the Mercedes, they had the opportunity, they had all the options. Whoa,
yeah,
that was
close.
quite a move between both of the young drivers there. Really nice job there by Gasly once again.
But I think so I was saying that okay, if you pitted, that would mean that Bottas would be ahead. But I think Mercedes would have had to pit Bottas anyway because you could have just chased him down.
Yeah, that I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. But I think that's kind of the risk reward scenario, right? Because you're like, if I do that, then I have to basically push Verstappen out, and I'm 100% giving up first.
Yeah.
Which at the time they didn't think this was a done deal. 10 laps to go. Right, like the computer was telling Red Bull it's going to be on the last lap, so let's maybe just
Yeah,
try to
yeah,
eke
yeah.
this out as much as we can.
No, it ended up happening like 6 laps early, so. Yeah, but a little bit of indecision there, perhaps, from the Red Bull camp. It's going to end
Yeah,
up
because they
costing
didn't,
them.
because there was a moment where it was on the time so where they would have been able to actually pit and be okay.
Yeah, you had like 2 or 3 seconds. Well, 2 or 3 seconds. You had like 2 or 3 laps where you could have made that decision, right?
And then they just didn't.
And they just didn't. They just left him out.
They just didn't do it.
Even though they were looking, I mean, you had 2 or 3 laps, so you could have looked at the lap times that Hamilton was putting on with this new fresh set of tires, and it was in the 120s, and you were doing 122s, and so you're sitting there saying, well, I mean, either we do some tire preservation strategy and keep like losing 2 seconds a lap to this guy, or we like pit it now. Anyway, I think kind of as you were right, most teams came into this thinking that they could do it on a single stop, and Mercedes threw a wrench in that whole plan by going with the two-stop strategy with Hamilton, and it worked.
It's because the Mercedes cars are so much faster that they make up the time. Like the time of the actual second stop is gone because of the tires, right? So they eliminate like other teams. It's almost like you can't two stop because the car's not fast enough.
Yeah, so this is going to be one of those races where the person to exit turn one on the start does not actually end up winning.
This has been happening.
Yeah,
This has been a common occurrence. I
but
feel like Max has been in the lead. He's been doing well, and then every single time it's kind of taken from him at the last moment.
yeah,
When it's like sort of out of his hands, to be honest with you, it's not. He can't do that much.
final lap here for Hamilton. As Chad is saying, driver of the day going to go to Hamilton for
Yeah,
exceptional
driver.
performance. I would agree.
I don't disagree. I mean, he made up all that time. Granted, everything was sort of on his side, but he still had to do it, and I absolutely crushed it.
Yep, raced a clean race. No issues there.
Yeah, actually, overall, everybody did race a pretty clean race. We didn't have many sort of issues other than the Sonoda incident, which wasn't really an incident. Um, and then other than
24
that,
laps being the age of the tires sort of at the end here. Hamilton, so Verstappen ended up going about
just
30, 30, 30 something, 20, yeah, about 33, about 33 to 35 on his. So there's your 12, right?
yep, yeah, exactly.
There's,
There's the
there's,
difference right there.
there's
And
the
then
difference in tire age. Yeah, a little bit of poor strategy, costing Red Bull. All right, it's going to be the third win for Hamilton in this
for Hamilton
F1
this year, yep,
series.
exactly.
Yep.
He takes this one, and I'll be honest with you, this one's much deserved. Very good job from the Mercedes team and also Hamilton himself.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
they
did not
they
think it
they
was going to end
crushed
like
it, to
that.
be honest with you. Like
This is
they
not the way we
absolutely
thought it was going to turn out after that first aggressive turn one on the opening lap.
Verstappen did all he could, in my honest opinion. I don't really think he could have done much that different. And then Bottas is going to pick up his third place finish there, guaranteeing really solid points for Mercedes. Overall, Ferrari is going to have both of their cars in the top 10. Perez is going to end up finishing here. Here, you're actually seeing an end of the race battle here, but I think Alcon's going to actually keep off Alonso there. So that will be the difference there. Ricardo, I have to say, fantastic job for him. He did fantastic this race. Considering the first couple of races, he didn't do that great. Now I think he's found the pace. He understands the car. He's doing a lot better. So more to come from there. Kind of a disappointing day overall from Norris, I would have to say, and also the Aston Martins after getting their upgrades, they did not really do that well. And then here Lewis celebrating on the radio.
Yeah, so a fourth and seventh finish for the Ferraris, 2 and 5 for the Red Bulls. Norris there in 8th place moves up one position from where he started in the McLaren, and the Alpines actually only one top 10 finish. Yeah, pretty impressed by Ocon there, finishing 9th. And his teammate down in, I'm trying to figure this out. There's the blue. Alonso actually down in 17th. Ooh,
Verstappen does
good.
take fastest lap, so they do get that extra point there.
And this time it won't be taken off.
And it won't be taken away, yeah, because
it won't
last
be taken
time
away.
it was taken away because of the track limits, which is quite hilarious when he had to learn that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think this may be the first race Mazepin actually has completed.
There is finished. Yes.
There is one thing. Maybe he bet on himself this.
I think he just ran over the 2 sign.
Them basically just saying there's not much they could have done, but I also don't. I'm not sure about that because I think there is something they could have done.
Yeah, yeah, they
But
could have they could have matched the cover Mercedes, right? This is I think Paolo was
wow,
referring it
look
to
at
it.
those tires in front, by the way.
Yeah, that front left is absolutely wrecked. And Paolo was saying in the chat they should have covered Mercedes, kind of like in sailing when you let the other guy tack and go off to the other side of the race
Yep.
course and you're ahead and you like don't tack over and try to cover them. That's you just kind of let them go, and then they pick up a wind shift and here they are. So there you go. There's your sailing F1 analogy for the afternoon. Um,
And that is 98 wins for Lewis. So he's got 2 more. And to continue with tradition at this track, that is now 22 of the last 23 poles have won at this track. So coming from pole position was taken away from him by Max at the start, which was an incredible start. But then after that, he was able to take it back with an overarching better strategy and performance from Mercedes. That's what having 2 cars in the top 3 allows you to do.
So look at the tires on Hamilton's car, and he had pitted. That is 23. That is 23 laps worth of tire wear here, as you say, especially on that front right. Verstappen would have had to finish with an extra 12. It's just not going to happen.
No.
I mean,
The fact he can go that fast on tires like that is insane.
yeah, Verstappen would have had 12 more laps. That front right would have been destroyed. And he didn't quite make it that far, so
Oh.
I'd be curious if you knew the how it played out, if you would have gone like if the intermediate stop would have been a soft stop, like a soft tire change for about 12 to 15 laps, and you would have just like gone flat out in this midsection of the race, and then you would have pitted the second stop onto mediums and finished that um, and finished like the final 23 laps with what it looks like now,
Here's
right? Because they
Max's
went
interview.
medium. But
It's Max talking. I'm I'm wondering why he's not like you should have pitted twice. Like ask the question.
yeah, I don't know. I got to imagine that they talked about it, but
I think he's sort of talking about it
yeah.
now. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying, where it's like once the Red Bull gets behind the Mercedes, it will never catch it.
It will no, it won't catch it.
The only way
But
the
he
Red
could have
Bull
pitted
wins is if they
immediately.
just hold them off.
Yeah, he could have pitted immediately and then it would have worked. Anyway,
Interesting.
all right, wrap it up here.
Yeah, no.
That's
So
it.
overall, fantastic weekend here in Barcelona, Spain, and then not next weekend, and not the weekend. Wait, hold on. Not
No,
next weekend, but the weekend after that, we have the most famous race in all of Formula One, and that will be in the Monaco Grand Prix. That will be at 9 in the morning on May 23rd. We will be doing qualifying. We will have the qualifying in Discord. We won't be commentating, but we'll have it there. Thank you, Paulo. Thank you, Doctor. Everybody that was in chat. I like colors as well. Everybody hanging out in Discord. If you guys liked it, throw a sub or a follow on the stream. That's always appreciated. But overall, super excited for the next race. The Mercedes most likely will have the advantages because in this race, because they do carry better speed into the medium pace corners. The Red Bulls are faster around the higher speed corners. And let's be honest, it's racing around a city. So there really aren't that many high speed corners, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it is a very different track, a very different environment that we're going to be in here in 2 weeks, but a very exciting environment that we're going to have in Monaco and super excited for it. It's going to be a fantastic race. And this overall has been a pretty good season so far. There is still Nobody's clearly. I mean, clearly Mercedes is in the lead, and there are favorites, but Red Bull's hanging
Little
around,
bit,
and other teams are hanging around.
little
Not as
bit of
comfortable.
separation.
Not as comfortable as other seasons.
Nope, but a little bit of separation now.
Yep.
So, all right, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna go back to bed because it's still not even 8 o'clock here on the West Coast. So there you go. All right, thanks everybody for joining us. Make sure to drop a sub on the YouTube side of things, so you can join us for Monaco here in Monaco, right? Monte
Yep,
Carlo,
Monaco.
Monaco, yeah, in 2 weeks, and we will see you there. Another win for Lewis Hamilton here in Barcelona. Happy Mother's Day to everybody, and have a great rest of your Sunday. Cheers, everybody, and goodbye. Thanks.